Hey guys, Buck here, BTM Scale Modeling, and welcome back to another week. And it is a scorcher. Today's Sunday. I'm getting ready to put the video together, and we are officially at 103 degrees, and it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, yeah, it's hot. Want to thank you, everybody. Last week we officially went over 100 subscribers to BTM Scale Modeling, so I really appreciate it, you guys. It's very, very humbling. I'm glad that I'm able to help so many of you with your model building, and likewise you guys help me with my kit building. So let's keep that number growing. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and also if you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comment section. I usually reply within 12 to 24 hours. If there's a technique I did that I didn't expand enough on or explain enough, please let me know. I will cover it again in a new video. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, go to sci-fi-fantasy.com, go to amazingscalemodelers.com. You can find them on Facebook and Google+, the model shop. Guys, there's a great community out there that we belong to. I don't know everything, trust me. I reference many builders all the time to keep working my kits and get to that next level. So please take time, go say hi, join the community. With that, we're getting ever closer to getting the Voyager buttoned up, getting ready for that famous thing I like to do and start putting some paint down, getting some things done. But we're tying up a few loose ends, as you will see in the video, so I will not take away from you watching that. So without further ado, let's get to the bench. Hey guys, it's Sunday, and just a quick shot. Got everything wired up. Just testing to make sure it is. Getting ready to seal up the saucer section. So, just a quick shot, guys. So, when I told you on the last video, I still had to add a switch. So, I just added a straight up toggle switch. So, there goes that. And we'll bring that up. Show you guys. Let's see. Camera out. There we go. So marker light, strobe light. So now what I did here is just like I said, I wanted to put everything together to get it tested to make sure all the connections were good. So as you can see, registry marker, strobes on both bottom and top, and red and light marker lights. I'm going to shut the light down, and that actually doesn't look bad. Now guys, in person it's not as bright as maybe the camera's showing it, trust me. I've looked at some pictures, and yeah, I understand those cameras flare, but phaser still test. So, and everything's working great. So I wanted to show you this before I pull it apart, to show you all the connections I made and what it looks like when all the wiring's cleaned up, because when I go to put this back together again, I'm going to seal it up and be done with this. We do have quite a lot of work to do for light leaks around the perimeter, even when it gets tightened up. As you can see right here, there's a lot of light bleed through, and then we got a lot of Bondo work to do. So I'm going to get things taken apart, and we are going to look at the inside. So stay tuned, guys. Okay guys, one last look before we seal up the saucer section. So this is what everything looks like for me cleaned up. As you can tell, I have made sure that there is no loose wiring. All the connections are done. The blackout paints, the paint block's done. Everything's secured down to the ship itself. Gone through and cleaned out all the little spider webs for the most part. Might have to do a couple more here. And then made connections to the lower saucer. Let's see if I can get in here. As you can see, with the phasers, it's on one run. The phasers actually tie into the negative on the regular power supply. Then the strobes tie into the board, and the regular positive ties into the regular power supply. So it's pretty nifty how Ralph does these so we can get the least amount of wires and get the most out of it. So all I did was all connections were made to the bottom saucer right here, and then I have run it through that hole that I told you guys about. So basically this is it. I mean, now we're gonna seal it together, let it sit and dry for 24 to 48 hours, let it get a good bond, and then we're gonna go through and start adding Bondo to take care of seam work, add putty and maybe some styrene to help cover up on these sensor bands and to give them that rounded bottom look on the bottom, and get this saucer section finished up. So I'm going to get this thing glued in together. So we'll see you when I get it done. Okay guys, it's glued together pretty well tight. Tried to put the clamps on and that didn't work. I like to push it down a little further. So the great thing about this kit with the lips on the saucer section, it actually fits pretty good. So I applied my CA and then just held pressure on it till the glue set a little bit. So I'm very happy it's all lined up. It looks great. No real big gaps, but like I said, we're gonna have to work these seams out all along the perimeter of the saucer. But I wanted to show you guys a little tip when building any kind of ship or anything with lots of wire connections. So as you guys can see with this, it's really loose. So what can happen while you're doing things, while you're doing the Bondo or the putty work and you're taping things off and you're adding things, these wires can start playing a lot inside the kit. So a little hack is, what I will do is I will pull them almost tight, and then because this will be hidden, I just not super glue, but hot glue them in place. Now what this will do is, while the end here will still move, it'll keep the inside where all the connections are from moving, even though those are glued down well. I have learned from experience that sometimes just a little bit extra movement, it'll translate inside and can break a connection. Then all of a sudden you gotta take it apart and then redo it, and trust me, you don't want that headache. So this is a little hack I do, and it'll keep these firm and tight. And then like I said, you can still mess with them here and adjust them where you want, but up inside, you see, they don't move. So just a little tip hack that I do when putting these together. Same thing, I will do that when I get this all done. I will on here I will put some hot glue in there to keep those wires from moving too much. So I'm gonna let this sit and dry, and then once that's done, I'm gonna go back through and start the Bondo work and the putty work. Yes, I still have to sand down the Bondo the putty Bondo that I have up here, but the reason I haven't done all that yet is one, I wanted to do it all at the same time, and then two, I want to go through and start light blocking off the marker lights and the strobe and the registry light. I do have to add a little bit of Bondo into there, a little putty. Got a little bit of a hole, but other than that, guys, this is good to go. It's set and ready. So I'm happy with that. So next update, hopefully we will see some more work done, and we'll keep pushing on. So I'll see you guys when I get more to show. Okay guys, while the saucer section is getting cured, I've gone back and I've cleaned up all the wiring for the aft part with the nacelles. As you guys can see, I wasn't joking when I told you a great quantity of the lighting seems to be running through here, well, at least the massive wires for such a small area. I've already test fitted it, so I know it works, but I just wanted to show you what the inside looks like before we top it off. Then basically right now this is, yeah, I've got this light going so I could finish up the light blocking for the strobe. But as you guys can see right here, this is every point because I had to run so many resistors from LEDs. I'm having to bring everything out into the ship. Same with the power and all that. Let me let's see if I can't do this real quick. Try to bring everything up. Let's see here. Let's zoom out. There we go. So while nothing's blinking, you can see I've tested all the lights. Everything works. I just wanted to show you guys what this looks like. Now, I know there's probably better techniques out there. There's probably better ways to do this. But this is how I do it, and I keep learning. Every time I build a kit and every time I light a kit, I learn something new. But for this is going to work because, like I said, when we go to finally run it in to the aft section here, we have all this open space right here. So I know I have plenty of room to be able to run all that wiring with the resistors poking out instead of hiding inside. The reason I didn't keep the resistors inside is, like I said, because there's just about that much room between the decks. So that's why they're on the outside. So guys, everything's tested, everything's light blocked. I am going to get this glued together, and I'll see you when we get that done. Okay guys, the aft section is now glued together. I'm very impressed with it. Got some light leaks, definitely have to deal with. That's always a given. But here's you can see the intakes for the impulse. And then, suckers. I've just kind of got this wired up so that I can show you the lighting. Give me a second here. Let me do this. There we go. Show you that. You can see the back impulse. All the marker lights are working. The little window light. But I'm really impressed. I'm liking how it looks. So one problem I'm running into, and I'm going to turn the light on for you and show you guys, is right here in this seam. I didn't think about it because I glued it all together with that piece of brass tubing. There's a light leak from the pylon at that seam. I have an idea that I'm going to try and see if it works. If not, I'm definitely going to get some black paint in there to help with that. But for the most part, guys, we got some more pieces together, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy that all the lighting's working. I haven't tried the strobe effect because that's on the base, but everything else is working really well. I'm very happy that where there's just a little bit of a light leak where the pylon meets the nacelle, but other than that, it looks really good. There we go. Maybe that'll help. So there we go, guys. Another piece together. So we have the saucer section, and now we have the aft section done. I still have to wire up these LED strip tapes, and that's it, guys. We're getting closer, but I'm going to fix all the light leaks before I actually apply this to the kit. I'm hoping to be able to take care of that really easy, that light leak in with the nacelle. But guys, there we go. Another piece done. We are getting ever closer to the marvelous deal of painting. But we still have some seam work to do before we get there. So I am going to get back to work, and I will come back when I have more to show. Alright guys, welcome back. It's Wednesday and work continues. As you can tell, like I said, saucer section is all put together. Now what I'm doing is I'm just starting to tape up the seams that I'm going to bondo. As you can tell here, I'm just running that line. I'm not so much worried about the outside here. I might reevaluate that and tape that too, but I just want to make sure I don't lose any of the detail into this side of the saucer, and that I have a guiding line to run the bondo on. Also, I have started to tape up. I've glued on the thruster assemblies, and I've also taped up those seams. There's some pretty good sized gaps coming from there, so the saucer section is going to take a little bit of work. But on a brighter note, I have now got the aft section with the warp nacelles onto the secondary hull. Wiring is run in. I still have to hook everything up to how it's going to run, but it is in place and everything still works, which is a great plus. As you can tell, I gotta go back in through here and clean this up. I have a lot of trailing long pieces that I need to take care of, but that's simple. Thoughts is it went in tight. We knew that from all the testing. So what's next is I need to go in and clean up some of the overglue, and then work on the seams around the aft section here and right into this point. The nacelles are done. There's some touch-ups that I'm gonna have to go back and do, and I've got some sanding to take down some ridges, but that's easy, and then we can work on doing the bondo. But I'm happy. It is on. It is in place. We also have to do some liquid putty work in here to get rid of the light leaks, and as I don't know if it's gonna come up there, but where the shuttle door attaches, there is, just probably because of the molding or just this kit, this ridge is warped, so I have to go back in here and do some liquid putty work also. But other than that, we got to mask off the dish, and we'll get bondo going and get ready to attach the final pieces to completing the kit so we can start on paint. Like I said, when I go to do this, forget the wire. As you can see here, there's just there's a pretty bad seam to work out right here along the neck. So it is what it is. We're getting ever closer, guys, and it's, you know, I'm starting to see an end coming soon. You know, once we get to paint, once we start painting, this thing's gonna go boom. Now the tedious work, like all the wiring is done, all the lights are in and working. Now it's just cleaning up seams and getting all that that work done. Now it's just, you know, a waiting game. Apply stuff, let it dry, sand it down, check it. If it needs to be done again, reapply, sand down, check it. But I'm happy where it's going. So I'm gonna get the bondo on so that can start to cure. And when we come back, we'll see what we got going on. Okay guys, it's Saturday. Just got up from my nap after another lovely overnight shift. So lots been going on this week. I let you guys know I have been going through the process of hiring on with my local sheriff's department, trying to get on and get started as a corrections officer so I can move forward into patrol some point in the future. So I've been going through that interview process, and the testing needed to do that, so I didn't get any more done than in the previous video segment. So what I'm going to work on the rest of the weekend, as you can tell, F section's in, working on light block, working on all those odds and ends. But what I want to do is get all the wiring cleaned up, get it all together to the point of after I get finished doing some more sanding on the saucer here, getting these seams taken care of, that I can get the post epoxied in and set. I want to get this all tied up and cleaned up so I don't have all these stray loose wires going. So that's my end goal for this weekend. We're getting closer, guys. I mean, wow, here in another week or so we'll be starting on paint. Excuse me. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and when we come back I'll show you the final part of the cleanup. Like I said, this will all be done. This is ready to attach, and then I just got to run my stringers down for like the phasers for the power connections that I have to connect to the chips in the bottom of the base. But I want to have this wired on. I want to have this ready to wire on, and just have everything ready to go. So all I have to do is a couple connections, and we're good to go. We can put the kit finally all together, and we can start laying some paint down. Just doing some light sanding, going back through, making sure everything's light blocked, ready for that. So with that, I'm gonna get back to work, and when we come back I'll show you what it looks like all cleaned up. Alright guys, it is Sunday afternoon. Oh man, is it a scorcher outside right now. It's almost 103 degrees here in Minot, North Dakota. So just to finish up this week on the bench, we got the aft section in. Everything is wired up now. Still got to do some final touches. Then we'll have to get the saucer section wired on. Before I do all that, I'm going to actually get the spine on and get some more light blocking and paint masking done, and then we're going to work on taking care of the bondo and seam work before we put the saucer on. Finish the saucer, bondo, and seam work up too. Might even give it a coat of primer before we do that, but just wanted to show you guys that this was what the wiring looks for me cleaned up. Like I said, we still got some connections to make just to the saucer, and then back out through the bottom where we're going to put the post. All in all, it's not bad. Just slow and steady gets it done. But yeah, we're going to put the spine on, as you can see here, so I can get a lot of this seam work done and taken care of before we put the rest of the saucer section on. So guys, we're getting ever closer. All the lighting is on and works. So there's that. So that's gonna do it this week on the bench with the Voyager. Next week I'm hoping that with all the bondo work done, I'll get all the sanding down, maybe even give it a coat of primer just before we put the last pieces together, just to make sure all this seam work is good to go on the saucer and on the secondary hull, and then we'll get the two mated up, and we'll finish up seam work, and we'll get started on painting. So with that, guys, be good to each other this week. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week on the bench.